officially started. Actually, let me take my notes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our next industry guest talk. Our guest speaker for this week is Katya. So Katya just graduated last year. She has been one of our most successful students, and she's working at Weta now. She works as junior virtual artist. So she's going to talk about what that means for us. She has a lot to share with us as a recently graduated student. She's going to give us insights on how to find a new position and how's the experience of working at a large company like Weta. We remember Katya from her amazing artworks at school. At year 2, she collaborated with 3 other students. It was Alice. Who else was on board for Bobo?
Paul and Albora and Alice.
Oh, Albora. How's Albora, by the way?
Albora's real good. She's in Kosovo with her family.
Say hello to her.
Hey, I will.
So 4 of them made a beautiful artwork called Bobo. You might have seen it everywhere. That's the radish with, like, you know, it's a cute radish. So Katya was a key artist in that project. Their project entered to the New Zealand Best Design Award. Her final project, Faded, that you have seen the photos everywhere, the chameleon one, also this year has been nominated as the finalist in the New Zealand Best Design Award. What made Katya distinctive and interesting was both. She's good at both art and technology. So she is a very good artist who has a passion to learn the technology and master it as well. So I hand it to you, Katya.
Thanks for the introduction, Hussein. I'm gonna share my screen. Just let me know if it works.
It does. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, hold on. Present. Well,
yes.
You guys see my slides?
Yes, we do see your slides.
Okay. Awesome. I was just gonna give like a really quick overview of my uni projects. Hussein kind of already talked about it, but like overall, I really kind of made sure I got to try everything, like over the course of the 3 years. Like even the things I didn't like I really don't like filming, but I really made sure like I gave it my best shot. So and in my 3rd year, I did a solo project because I really wanted to make sure I go through the entire pipeline, like from the design stage to like the final like polishing, and just try to make the most out of like my uni experience. And this is definitely something I would recommend for you guys, because like first of all, like make the most out of the student licenses. Like after uni, they're actually like really expensive, and especially like if you don't know what you're doing with it, like if you're not sure like if you need it or not, it's kind of like a big deal because you have to pay for it. So you really have to kind of like choose wisely, make sure you're only buying what you need. So, but also you get so much support, and like your lecturers will help you with like all the installation. It was just like so much easier to learn all these programs while you're at uni. So I would say try to make the most out of it. And also like the equipment, like Lone Central is like so awesome. You get like all these cameras, so like make sure you try them out. So I was just gonna talk about my like work experience journey in general. I think that just getting work experience in uni is one of the most important things. Like it is possible to get jobs like without a lot of experience, but like most entry positions, they always ask for at least a year of experience, and you do need to have something to talk about, like in the interview and stuff like that. It's just like, it's so much harder, like if you don't get any work experience. For me, I kind of like the first thing I worked on was Hussein's project. That was like year one. I kind of like tried to get some experience straight away in year one, and I think that benefited me so much.
You were at year one, right?
Yep.
I remember, yes, you were a passionate year one student, and you just so at that time I was working in a group format on my PhD project, Stella project. You might have heard of it. Still not finished. I'm not as good as Katya in finishing the stuff. So, yeah, it's towards the end. I'll get there. So so she jumped in, and you were concept design artist at it, right?
I was doing like mocap tracking.
Mocap cleaning, and you did concept design. And over there, I saw Katya like kind of, she's thirsty to learn and to just work on different skills, like always excited, which was very interesting. Sorry for interruption.
No, that's a good comment. Yeah, what I was saying is that like not all your like first work experience are going to be like the best experiences. So like Hussein's project was really awesome, but like the stuff I did afterwards, like a lot of it, I did face a lot of challenges, and I think that the faster you can get over that, like the better, because it's like it'll be an opportunity for you to identify your weaknesses and kind of work through it before you actually apply for any big positions. And also like interviews, like one of the common questions will be like identifying your weaknesses and like what you do about it. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to answer that if you actually you've actually done some work, you actually have experience, and you actually know like what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I would say like don't expect to get paid. Just treat it as part of your learning, because I found that getting work experience after you graduate is really hard. Like while you're still a student, there will be quite a lot of internship opportunities that turn up. So I would say make sure you take them. And yeah, it's just like really good to have projects to talk about, because it makes you sound like dedicated and passionate, which I'm sure you guys are, but like people interviewing you like you kind of need to prove it to them. So I was gonna say it's also good to have a range of skills. Like for example, I did mocap because like I just didn't want to miss out, but I don't really like it. But yeah, I don't really like mocap, but for me it works. Like it was really useful because it kind of got me into, it got me some jobs. Like for example, I was working part-time for like a game startup company. Like after my first year, it was like the summer I did full-time, and then for a few months I did kind of like on and off part-time work. So that was like a great experience for me. I was doing concept art. Then I was doing like modeling, texturing. I was like the only artist because it was like really small startup. So it was like really fun. I was doing like, I was doing pretty much everything art related. So that was really cool. But how I got that position, they needed a mocap, someone who knows mocap.
You got it through mocap, but then they realized, oh, you can do other stuff. And then you started to do the stuff you enjoy most.
Yeah, pretty much. So they just needed someone to clean the data for them. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. But then I was like, well, I can also do this and that. Do you guys need someone to like do your like 3D stuff? Do you need someone to do the concept? And that was pretty cool. So that was a really important.
So you work for the game startup for the whole summer, and then after that part-time, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a good summer.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of work. Like I was just like really
And it was a paid position, right?
Yeah, it was actually paid, which was good. It was like low pay, but honestly, like for a student, that's already so good. And then after I did like a bunch of freelance projects that I got through connections. Like some of it was my parents' friends, some of it was people from uni. Those are like really useful as well because like when you just first start out, it's really hard to like estimate how long things are gonna take, and it's really hard to tell whether the pay is fair or not, because like people literally approach you and be like, well, can you make this for like, let's say like $100, and you literally have no idea like, is this gonna be worth it or like not really. So like I would say when you start out, just do it anyways. Just try to hit the deadlines, but the pay like doesn't necessarily matter as much because it's just like part of your learning experience. Like later on, you can like bargain and ask for better rates and stuff, but first doesn't really matter, in my opinion. So after uni, like I got a contract as like a texture artist / generalist in, I think it was like May or something, so it did take a few months. I'll talk more about my like experience with finding a job, but I worked there for literally 2 weeks and then I got my like Weta contract, so kind of had to leave that project, which is really unfortunate because I absolutely loved it. I loved the team. It was like super fun role. It was like a small team where you get like enough creative freedom, but still get.
Was it in Auckland, right?
Yeah, it was actually it was like a Wellington company, but I was doing like remote work.
Remotely working for them. Okay.
Yeah, so that was cool. And now I work at Weta as a virtual art department junior artist.
That's a long name.
Yeah.
But VAT is easy. Like, when I said, oh, it's VAT, makes sense. Do they call the team and the people from their VAT as well? You VAT person?
VAT person. Yeah, we just say bad. Like we don't say virtual art department every time.
I'm so bad. That's cool name. Cool abbreviation. Sorry. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So basically what we do is we make like we get the hero assets and then we down-res them to make sure it can run in real time. So we make like low poly hard surface stuff and like fairly low res textures. It's used for the mocap stage, it's used for the animation puppets as well, like for the rigs. So it's just like it's the assets. We take like the assets that are already done and we down-res them. So it's really just like a generalist / modeling / texturing position. It's like really a range of different tasks, different pipelines. Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting. Sorry for pausing you. Can you go to the previous slide?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I was thinking that it's a dedicated department for real-time content, but it seems that you are feeding or like contributing to the overall visual effects production. Is that a new department or it's been there? Because that position I saw for the first time, and you are the first student of mine that get into the visual art department.
I think it's fairly new. Like it used to be part of layout. Yeah. Now we have a dedicated department.
Now with the emergence of more real-time solutions, we see more and more of it embedded within the rest of the VFX production.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also cool that you can be like a game artist and still work for a VFX company. So I found that pretty interesting because I didn't know that was possible.
Very interesting. Yeah.
By the way, feel free to like interrupt me anytime and ask questions.
Yes. Yes. Drop your. So while I'm enjoying the talk, so I'm sure you guys as well. So as Katya goes forward and talks through, feel free to drop your questions in the chat list. I will read it while she's talking. So let's make it interactive and live.
Yeah,
Okay.
guys, just ask questions. Right. So I was just gonna talk about working in a big production studio in general. So I just think it's a really great opportunity. It's a lot of learning. You keep learning all the time. Like you have to learn all the in-house tools. It's just like the pipelines always change. You just constantly have to like keep learning. And it's not just about the technical stuff. I think like the things that are also super important are the soft skills and just how to be professional, how to talk to people. All of those things are super important, and like in uni you don't necessarily focus on that. And then you get really helpful feedback and clear instructions as compared to small studios or when you do freelance. It's like you get told to go and just figure something out, and sometimes you can get stuck, like you don't know how to do it, you don't know who to ask. But here, like there's always going to be there are always going to be people who will know how to do it and will help you straight away. So I thought that was really cool. And there are a lot of really, really talented people. So it's just like really inspiring to meet people from other departments. We do have like social events where you can network. So I thought that was like a really, really good thing. You make great connections, and just like in general in the big production studios, you get more opportunities for career growth as opposed to like small studio when like let's say you're the only artist and you'll just stay in that position like forever until the studio grows. Like here you can actually you can actually like grow and get promoted, move to different departments and stuff like that. So pretty good opportunity. We also get a lot of like talks and screenings and presentations. So
do you? Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like the company, like big companies make sure that like all the like everyone is kind of like up to date with the like VFX industry and like what's new and stuff like that.
Oh, that's interesting. So you guys have a side educational kind of programs?
Yeah, pretty much. We do get training, and when new stuff comes out, we get screenings.
Nice. So when you said like opportunities for career growth, so if you want to move to another department, what would it be like? What's the next interesting department for you over there?
Like models and textures are pretty interesting because like just 3D in general, like props, characters has been like the most interesting thing for me. So like in the industry in general, like entry-level positions, you are a lot more likely to get a generalist role. So even if you're aiming, let's say for like long-term, if your passion is textures, it's really hard to get like specifically a texturing job because most of them require experience, quite a lot of experience, and a very like specific portfolio. And then in uni, you just focus on so many things at once. It's really hard to get like a specifically, like dedicated portfolio to like, it's really cool that like here as well, like you get in big companies you get insights into upcoming shows, and like for me that's definitely a perk. It's like
you're the spoiler friend, right?
It's like spoilers and stuff like that. It feels cool. It's like, some secrets.
If you're angry with someone, say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna spoil the next show.
Nah, I want to keep my job.
Okay, just kidding.
So, finding a job. I'm just gonna share my experience.
This is the important part for our students who are very close to graduate. So pay attention to what Katya says.
Yeah, hopefully you guys will find something useful, like some of it. So, like I mentioned before, like if you're interested in 3D, like regardless of whether it's texturing, modeling, stuff like that, like most entry-level positions for 3D are generalists. So I think it's good to prepare a portfolio like specifically for that. So it's really important to have like show variety. Like for example, if you're hired into like a games company or something like that, they will expect you to be able to make a range of assets like really quickly. It'll just be like a whole bunch of random things. So I think it's really important to like, rather than just showing like one asset, it's like really important to show them that you can make a whole bunch of things, like anything they want. And it's also really important to show like good topology. They'll really be looking for that. So just do the turntables and make sure you show the topology. Another thing that I felt like was an important point is making sure that you treat your showreel as a priority.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like for me, I really kind of like focused on my film. Like for me, that was like the outcome of my whole like university experience. But then I mean, of course, it's really good to make a good film, and like ideally, if you make something really amazing and everyone sees it, and then you get like a letter from Disney, and they'll be like, "Hey, we want you to work for us." But then I think a more realistic scenario is where you would actually have to like email studios and send them your portfolio and apply for like specific jobs that are like more technical. So if it comes down to like, if you have to choose between like finishing your film or just like focusing on a couple of shots and making them really good, just do those like 2 shots and make them really, really good, because in a show reel, like most of the time they're not gonna care about your actual film. Like no one's gonna go watch it. They'll just see the shots that you give them. And like, let's say if you're applying for a generalist role, like they won't necessarily care if you're like a good storyteller, because like they're hiring you for something really specific. So I think a really good way to make sure you have that like variety is like doing like little side projects. Let's say if you make like a little prop every month or so, like it's totally realistic. And then if you make sure that you plan, like let's say your capstone, like when you plan your capstone, you kind of take that into account. You just like spend like a little bit of time on your like little side projects. I think that'll really add to a show reel. But I mean, like this is just my opinion, so like Hussein, feel free to comment.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, this is my strategy with third-year students. Actually, few of them are here as well. So when I see someone is struggling to finish the entirety of the project, I ask them, okay, you know what? It's important that you do few things, but do it very well. So instead of like focusing to get the movie done, focus to just get these specific shots done. So that's the alternative plan. And
Yeah,
what you say, makes a lot of sense, because the idea is, have something in your showreel, have something good in your showreel.
Yeah, definitely. I think like this alternative plan is still, just as good when it comes to applying for jobs. will still get you the job. So when you are applying for jobs, make sure you set up notifications on like every social media platform. Make sure you go like follow all the like Facebook groups, set up your like LinkedIn like email notifications properly, and just like keep checking it. So make sure you actually go and check your social media, because I had like a really stupid situation where like on LinkedIn, when someone messages you, you get connection notification. You don't get like message requests, like in Facebook, for example. And like for me, that's what I was kind of expecting. So I always checked my messages, and I never looked at the connection requests. And someone actually messaged me. It was also like through connections, but someone messaged me like pretty much like asking me if I want a job, and then I completely missed that. And then
you missed that. Oh.
Yeah, I missed that. And when I like saw it, because I didn't even see the message, I clicked like connect first, like I accepted the request, and then the message popped up, and like on the message, it doesn't say that the message was sent a week ago, like the time kind of resets. So I was like, oh, this person just messaged me like right after I added them. And I was like, okay, I messaged them back, and it was really stupid because this person was like, well, this was a week ago, we already hired someone.
Dumb LinkedIn. So what social network platform you recommend to be more engaged, or you saw more useful for you in finding jobs?
I think LinkedIn is the most useful one. You can set up like email notifications for the jobs that you want.
Yes.
Super useful. The next one is Facebook. Like there are groups, like 3D groups on Facebook where people just post stuff. People from Toybox and just like all the other companies.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good too. And then I also subscribe to like Seek and Indeed or something.
Yeah. Actually, that's how I found my job at Toybox as a CG supervisor. I was I submitted actually I subscribed to Seek. So when you search in Seek.com, you just like search for like I don't know, animation or visual effects or whatever position. It asks you, do you want to save your search and subscribe for receiving similar positions weekly or daily or whatever in the interval that you want. So then, as Katya said, you get the notification and you apply. The faster you apply, the better. That's one of her words.
Yeah, because the faster the better, because a lot of people will be looking for someone urgently, like someone is working on a project and then one of the artists just leaves, and then they need a replacement ASAP.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got my texturing contract, because they just needed someone ASAP. And then as soon as the notification popped up on my LinkedIn, I applied like straight away. And they're like, okay, we need you to literally start like tomorrow. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Like, start tomorrow. That's very, very fast.
Yeah, it was like straight away. I was like, wow, amazing. Okay. Then what else did I do? I made a list of all companies, like game, VFX, animation, all companies in Auckland and Wellington. I made a list. I emailed every single one of them. And it was really sad because I, like, let's say, spent a week, like, writing these custom emails. Like, you actually looked into the companies, like, you write emails, like, for every single one, and then you just don't get replies. So that was, like, super frustrating. But I think it's still really important to do that, because like I got maybe like 2 or 3 replies like 5 months later.
You just have to be patient.
Yeah, you just have to be patient, because a lot of companies are not going to reply, but they do keep your details just in case. So I did get some replies. They're like, oh, like you sent us this email like in April, like, well, we have some opportunities now. And also that, like, that texturing job I applied to, like during my interview, the person I was talking to, he was like, "Oh, I recognized you because you sent us your portfolio a week ago." So I was looking for it, and then I just couldn't find that email. So it's kind of good to send your stuff through.
Be in touch.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's good to be in touch with different companies, and as Katya said, like it's good to reapply like every, I don't know, 6 months or a year to the same companies, because like maybe last year they didn't need anyone, but this year they just lost a couple of artists and they are in demand. So you know, when you just apply, you know, you just apply on the right time. So, and then once you graduate, you know, this is actually Katya as well, and every other graduate. So you graduate and you start apply for all the positions and email every company, and you don't get reply back right away. Just don't get upset. wait few more
I got
months.
so upset. I got so upset.
Yeah, I remember that. Like Katya was, you know, I emailed them. I just, okay, it was just yesterday, Katya. Not yesterday, but it was just very recent. So you just have to be patient, especially like students who work hard, like Katya herself, who are talented. And so I remember when I got contacted by Cheryl at Weta asking about Katya, and I wrote, yes, you know, just hire her. She's the best. So once the time comes, you know, you'll get the position. But it needs about a bit of, you know, being in the scene, being visible, being patient, and just like try to find your way through and the best position that you might find. Okay, go ahead, Katya.
Yeah, be patient and make sure you use that time to prepare. For example, for interviews, there's quite a long list of questions that they could potentially ask, but it's a list. They're not going to ask you random things. So you have so much time to prepare like answers for all these questions. You have time to actually look into these companies. So when an interview comes up, you know, you'll be ready. And just in general, I think it's a really good strategy to actually like memorize things, like actually think about what you're gonna say like in the interview, rather than just trying to wing it. It really helps because like for me, I get really stressed out in interviews, and then it's like if you already know what you're going to say, you can focus more on your body language and just how you present yourself. So, and you just have like less things to stress about. And you guys have so much time, like it's totally doable. Yeah. So
and read the job description, as she says at the last one. Read the job description.
Yeah, it's really important because like in the job description, they say all those things for a reason, like whatever, like make sure you actually address all those points. Like obviously, if you have something to say about it, just kind of like, for example, if they're asking, like if they want someone who is like a good leader, you need to like mention that, say that you have like good leadership skills and like provide examples. Be like, well, I directed a film, I was a student rep, I did this and that, I am a good leader. So
give examples. Yeah,
give examples. It's really important. Also, like, don't expect to get a job straight away, and I would say don't put too much pressure on yourself, because like for me, I was getting like really upset. I was putting so much pressure on myself, and then I was getting told, like my parents would say this, and I would just hear this from different people that, you know, like if you don't get a job straight away, there will be like new graduates and they'll be like more skilled and more up to date than you are. You know, like if you just take a break, you're gonna like lose your skills, you're gonna get out of touch. And like, in my opinion, like it's not necessarily true. Like you just need to like see how you feel, and make sure you prioritize your mental health, like mental and physical health, just in general. So
very good point. Very good point. Yeah.
Just see what's right for you, and it's totally okay to take a break if you feel like you need one. Like here, a lot of people I work with and a lot of people who are like really successful and they have like awesome jobs, like they did like a random job for a few years, or they went traveling, or they just took like 2 years, or like just like a gap year, or like 2 years of just like break time. So it's totally okay. Just like make sure you don't you prioritize your mental health. So this is just like a reflection on my uni experience and what I would have done differently.
Very good.
So hopefully you guys find this useful.
I'm just laughing at your first comment. Keep your files safe and organized.
It's so important. It's super important.
They don't listen. They just don't listen.
First of all, like I have some projects that they're like good projects, but there was just like something about them that I didn't finish. And then like for example, like my first year project is like overall I really like it, but then like I didn't know how to rig, and like my animation was like really bad, and then now I know how to do it with an IK. I could literally like redo it in a half an hour, but then I don't know where any of my files are. So it would be so easy to just update it, but I can't go back to it now because I don't know where anything is. Everything is named weirdly, just like all over in like my hard drive, like in different folders. So make sure you don't do that. And also, it's just really good practice for when you're working in a team. Like clean projects, naming conventions, like good folder structure is super important, especially if you're working in a company, because you will have to share files, and you just don't want to be that annoying person. So it's really good to practice it now when there is like no pressure on you. It's like you're just doing it for yourself. So also, like in my opinion, like from my experience, like simpler projects, like simpler but polished and well presented projects are better than like trying to do something ambitious and just like failing. Like yes, it's a good learning experience, but like at the end of the day, you kind of do need an outcome. So like you will have to show something. You will have to show.
Yeah, that's a very golden recommendation, golden advice, Katya. So like many students, they are ambitious and they want to just like make a blockbuster in their student time, but like you just do like very contained project, but in a well presented way, as Katya says, and then you're a winner. You don't need to just be so glamorous or just so sophisticated in the project that you deliver. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do as well. I was like, yes, I can make something amazing and super complicated, but then you just end up like feeling really frustrated with your work because you can't get it to like the standard, like you can't finish it sometimes. Like you can't make it look polished, and then like you don't want to show that work to anyone. So it just goes to waste. So I think it's a lot better to actually finish stuff.
We have a question here. B asks, you mentioned looking after your mental health. So I just wanted to ask, do you know how interviewers take a history of mental health issues that might come to light in the conversation? I've had job interviews where they ask you why you've taken a break, or if you have those kind of issues. So her point is like taking break for mental issues would do you think would that might work against you at some point if someone wants to like address it in a weird way?
Well, I think that if you have to take a break, then there's no way around it. Like you just have to take it. It's like at the interview, you don't have to say that, you had a mental issue. It's just like you took a break to, focus on yourself or just anything like that. Like it's totally understandable. Like people take breaks all the time. Like you felt burned out. Like we're all human. It's okay. Like the reason why they ask these questions is to make sure that, like nothing crazy happened. Like, I don't know, you didn't go to jail or something.
Yeah. That's a weird question, by the way. Yeah, I've never seen that in a job interview showing up. They might ask you, so what you've been doing. So you say, yeah, you've been busy up to 2015, but then everything starts at 2017. What you were working on?
Yeah,
at
like
2016, you can say I was working on myself. So I was taking care of myself, my family. Yeah.
Yeah, because people have like really different situations and it's all like really understandable. I don't think at the interview they'll ever like specifically ask. They'll be like, well, you took a break. Is there something wrong with your mental health? Like no one's gonna ask that.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope that answered the question. Yeah, so I was gonna say that in my opinion, grades do matter because this is something I hear like so much. People say like, oh, your grades don't matter because no one's gonna look at it. And like it's true, like no one is gonna look at your transcript. But then your grades are a really important indication of how well you can like address a brief. So you get a brief and like how well you can actually like match that criteria. And like when you get a job that is exactly what you'll be doing, like you'll get like a list of things that you have to make sure you get right. Like for example, you'll get like a formatting thing. It'll be like your project has to be in this format, it has to be this long, it has to include like these 5 things. So it'll be really important like when you get a job, it'll be really important that you can like take a brief and make sure like you meet all the requirements. So I think grades are a good way to practice that.
Interesting. Very interesting point.
And then also like keeping an eye on time. It's like it's super difficult and it takes some practice. But when you do freelance projects, and you guys probably will have, it's like that's the easiest way to get work experience is doing just like little freelance projects for people you know. You like oftentimes you will be asked to estimate how long things take, or you'll be asked to estimate like you'll be asked how much you want to get paid for this, or they'll give you like a sum of money and you'll have to decide whether you want to take that project or not. So if you just roughly know how long it takes you to do things, like you sit down, you actually like focus on your work, and then you know that you spend like 4 hours on this and you got this much done, rather than just procrastinating, then getting a tea, then doing something else, and just completely losing track of time. And you're like, well, I've been doing this for 3 days, but how long did it actually work for? So I think it's really good to keep that in mind just for like future projects. Then just generally being organized and punctual, definitely a big problem for me. So I think it's really good to start practicing that while you're at uni. Like, don't be late to lectures, actually submit stuff in time, because like when you get a job that will actually like become a problem for you, if you're not used to it, it'll just be really hard. So I think, again, like you're not really under a lot of pressure, so I think it's good to start practicing that like as early as you can. And then another thing, is kind of like setting a time limit on creative or technical exploration, because with projects like, for example, the capstone project, it's really, I found it really easy to get carried away with just trying to, you know, like invent something. It's like I was trying to do the simulation that never worked, and then I spent ages just trying to get it to work, and then like I didn't have time to like finish the things that were actually like essential for the task. So I think setting a limit is really important, even though like all your investigations are super important. It's a great way to learn and just like expand your skill set. Like just make sure that you focus on like getting an outcome, like actually like making something. I think that planning a simple project, and then like if you have time left, just like adding extra complexity to it is better than just planning something super ambitious and just getting frustrated because you can't get it done. Like you can always add stuff to your project if it's too simple for you. Right. What else? Like I said before, just making sure you get involved in everything, just really like take all these opportunities. I think taking team projects seriously is super important as well. Like every year there's always like some kind of a drama revolving around like all these team projects. It's just like,
but that's how we learn, you know, that's
how we learn, but
practice it at uni.
yeah, definitely. But I think it's just good to like not to be remembered as that one person who started up like this drama, because it's not really a good thing. Also, I think it's important to just like separate work from like your personal life, as in like if you're working with your friends, just whoever is in charge of the projects, or just like if you guys are working together, I think it's really good to like have a chat and set like expectations for everyone. Like for example, like if someone is like doing a part-time job as well, or has other commitments, like they won't necessarily want to like spend as much time on this project as like other team members who are like not doing anything like else on the side. So like for example, if like the person who is in charge of the animation is also like working on 2 other jobs, like make sure you plan the project like accordingly, make sure the animation is like simple and stuff like that, so you're not putting pressure on anyone. Because I'm sorry, it's like echoing.
Not on my side. Maybe
okay.
I turn up my mic.
Maybe it's just me. So yeah, meetups and networking is also, I found that really useful. Like I didn't go to that many, and like it's really I wish I went to more. Like some of the people I met, like now I ended up working with them, so that was kind of really cool. Like you meet someone at a company and you already like you know them, you're like, hey, like I saw you at this and this like at this meetup, and it's really useful. Like you won't necessarily get a job from it, but it's really good to get those connections. Yeah, just make the most out of your uni opportunities. Try to be proactive. Try to ask as much as you can. Just make sure you're always seeking feedback, and like when you get feedback, take the critique well, because it's an opportunity for you to improve. Like don't take any feedback personally. Like when you'll be working, like regardless what kind of company it's for or it's for a client, you'll always get like notes and people will ask you to redo stuff. So just make sure you are prepared for that. Like don't get too attached to your work and stuff. Yeah, I think I sort of covered all my points. So if you guys have any questions. Hassan, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
Okay, awesome talk so far. I also like read that sentence that you skipped, and I think is very important. Put less pressure on yourself and understand that everyone is on a different journey. That is a very, very, very well thought, well written sentence. So it's what we see, like students try to compare like to each other, but like you are all on different journeys. So take it easy. Miriam says, thank you, Katya, really interesting and very wise and helpful. Okay, so it's we're moving to Q&A. Please feel free to open your mic and ask Katya questions, or type your question in the chat room. So I'll read it for Katya. You can like come out of screen sharing, Katya, so we see you in full screen. There we are. Okay. Any questions? So I have one here. So you said in your talk you mentioned soft skills, and you mentioned that it's very important. And so what are them, and what do you suggest to the students how to develop their soft skills?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So like for example, it would be like communication. Like for me personally, it was kind of like a big challenge to like bring up some issues. For example, like if I felt like I can't get something done, I would be like, well, I'm just gonna, instead of like flagging it, I'm just gonna try extra hard to get it done. And then once the deadline passes, yeah, it's just like just overestimating myself, just thinking like maybe I can stay up, maybe I can do some extra time, I can totally do this. And then once you like pass the deadline, you have to be like, well, you know, I haven't done this, and then you'll be asked like, why didn't you bring it up? And it's just like all these little things, like knowing how to communicate, how to like work in a team. What else is there?
Yeah, those two are actually the most important ones. Alicia asks, in your opinion, what is the toughest, most unexpected part of working for a large company?
The most unexpected thing for me was actually all the things that are happening outside of work, because like all of a sudden I moved to a different city, away from my parents. It's the first time I moved out. And then that was the most unexpected thing, because I didn't really take that into account. But then I kind of like wish that throughout uni I was a bit more independent. I actually like cooked my own food, you know, just like, you know, had a job and like did like all the adulting things, I guess, because all of a sudden it's just like you have a new job and then you have to actually look after yourself. You're like in a different city, a different place, and it's just all really overwhelming. So yeah.
So the living experience of a new environment was the toughest part for you.
Yeah, for me, like it's still pretty tough. I'm still like getting used to it.
Interesting. So Daniela asks, how much support and learning opportunities do new artists receive from Weta?
You get quite a lot of support. Like I mentioned before, you can literally ask anyone. Like anyone in the team can answer your questions. You get a buddy, like a person that you can talk to like anytime, like whatever issues you're having, you can just like talk to them and they'll come over and like show you stuff and help you. Overall, it's like really supportive. You get a super supportive HR team. If you're having any issues, you can talk to them. They're super nice. we have a lot of like networking and team building activities. So I overall feel pretty supported. And you also, yeah, you get the opportunity to, like train. They do train you because a lot of the software is like weather specific.
So you get a lot. So you get both a buddy. That's great. So you have someone to ask your questions, and also training supports. Supa asks, after having worked in both a small and a big company, which one do you prefer and why?
They both have their own benefits. In a smaller company, sometimes you'll find yourself just, stuck and not knowing how to solve a problem. In a big company, you can just ask someone. You don't ever have to Google anything. In a bigger company, your role is a bit because you are just like a small part of a really big pipeline, your job will be kind of really focused. So if you're a modeler, you'll only do modeling. Textures will only do textures. They don't really, but in a smaller company, you can get a range of different tasks. It will change between projects and yeah, so I think that's the biggest difference for me. In a smaller company, you could get a lot more creative freedom, but in a bigger company, I think you learn a lot faster.
Nice. Miriam has a good question here. Do you AUT folks hang out together and support each other? I know there are many of our students there. Do you guys hang out and support each other?
Yeah, we do. We have our own chat. We got lunches Wednesdays. So it's really awesome that there are so many AUT people here. I haven't, we haven't been in touch with a lot of the new ATDs, but yeah, we're definitely we're kind of keeping in touch with everyone, trying to hang out.
So it's lovely to hear that. So if new people gonna come down to Valley, we'll just message you, Katya.
Yeah, you guys will have friends here.
Yeah, there's a little bird coming. Take care of them.
And all the people I knew that were working at Weta, they just happened to be in the same building.
Oh.
So that was a really cool surprise for me. I just ran into people I knew in my building. Which was cool.
It's a small city. Yeah, small city. Okay. Zach asks, what's some of the better freelance website apps for VFX artists?
To be honest, I have no idea because I never did anything like that. I only got maybe 3 freelance projects, and they were all through connections. They were literally my parents' friends would just ask for something. It would be can you make us a video? And I'd be yeah, okay. So I've never tried out any freelance platforms, and it's definitely something I'm keen to look into. But
I can actually comment on that. Actually, and you saw it through Katya's slides as well. LinkedIn and uploading your works. If you are active in LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a social network, but not for sharing cat videos and what you have eaten for the lunch, but for showcasing your works and connecting with the people who do the same job or as you. So if you expand your connections over there and you keep posting the projects that you're working on and the professional careers, there's a high chance of getting being contacted by the people. Actually, I found many people I work for they work on the projects that I have been doing through LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. A lot of people I know get projects through Instagram and stuff because they have a proper art account and they actually stuff. Something I've never done, but
yeah,
I'll do it sometime. I'll get to it. Okay. Yeah, so that's another reason why it's important to make sure that everything like you make is polished and like presentable, so you can just keep uploading stuff. I think it would be actually like, I wish that I like created like social media profiles, like art stuff, like art dedicated profiles, and then like I wish I just uploaded stuff like from uni as I went. That would have been really useful, and it would have encouraged me to actually like finish stuff rather than forget about it. And...
Good point, and good question, Zach. So we're coming at 6, so very well planned and very on time. We are coming to the end of this talk. I just wanted to show everybody what Katya gave me before heading to Wellington. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So she kind of made the frog from her movie Faded, and it's on my desk. So it was a very precious gift by you. We all wish you the best, Katya, over there. We are very proud of you. This talk has been very informative for our students that will graduate soon. I'm glad that not just third-year students, I see many even first-year students here, first and second-year students from all range of different pathways that are listening to your talk. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks Katya for being our guest for this week.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me. It was really cool to talk to you guys.
All the best, Katya.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
All of you as well.
Bye, Katya. Come say hello whenever you head to Auckland.
Yep. Out of lockdown.
Yeah, after lockdown. See you. Bye.